everyone, this is AlphaAli. Welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's doing okay. So today I'm doing another VOD review. This is actually for Bluehawk. Bluehawk I've never actually done a VOD review before, so this is a brand new person. They are very, very lovely and come into my streams from time to time, and they are honestly so lovely to have in my chat. They are Silver 4 on Xbox, and I've basically been told that they were queued with their tank and both of their DPS. So this is already like really great. We're gonna have some good comms in this like team basically. They've also told me that they had 11.5k healing, nearly 2k damage amps and 6 reses in 11 minutes, so not a massively long game. We have quite a bit of healing done, but we're going to see how much we're kind of using that blue beam, and we're just going to look at this this VOD review basically. Once again, you can get your own. They offer 5,000 channel points on my Twitch, and I do the VODs on Mondays, but then I also do my own streams on Wednesdays, Fridays and Saturdays, and those are the days I just, you know, do my own gameplay and stuff. I might sometimes also do my own gameplay on Mondays. It depends on how many VODs I get basically. However, a lot of the time it's normally I spend the entire time doing VODs and stuff. But you can come and get some drops if drops are available, and you can also get some channel points as well in case you want to save up for a VOD or even something different. You know, it's completely up to you. So, we have the Soulblin skin on. I obviously adore the Soulblin skin. It is my favourite. We've had a lot of Soulblins recently, you know. I love the little theme going on. I love it. And we have the little gold medal charm on as well. I feel as though it matches really, really nicely with like the gold staff theme and stuff like that. Looking at the team comp. Now, this team comp isn't great for Mercy. The reasoning is because there isn't a very good damage boost target. There is, of course, stuff that you can damage boost with all of these teams, but I would say probably a different support would maybe work a little bit better. But if you are, you know, wanting to play Mercy, then I'm going to obviously show like how much damage boost potentially you can still get into this. And yeah, we'll just start off with the VOD. So, we did obviously say that we were queued up with, I might put it on really fast. Yeah, I have. I was like, why is it so fast? So obviously we know that we're queued up with the tank and the 2 DPS. So already we're going to have comms, which is really, really great. Lovely damage boost already onto the Moira, which is great. We switched to Zarya. Zarya is such a better option to damage boost. Lovely damage boost already. As soon as she's like a little bit healthy though, especially when this Moira's healing her, just stick this damage boost on her again. Like, you know, like the Moira's there to damage boost it basically. Lovely rotation up. My only thing is that I would have stayed up on this high ground up until you know it's safe to kind of like drop down a little bit. And if you do need to drop down, don't drop down in front, drop down behind, because then it means that if there was like people still here, like for example this Torb turret, you're not going to take damage from it. So if you do need to drop back down, you drop back down behind. But we'll keep going. Damage boost again. So with Zarya won't take damage when she's in her bubble form. It gives a great opportunity to damage boost unless she's like critical basically. Because Zarya is at this kind of like health level, and also she has these blue shields. The blue shields actually regen themselves over time as long as Zarya doesn't take damage. So what you can do here is you can just stick the damage boost like blue beam onto her for this entire like time basically. There's no need for you to stand and heal her. You can heal her once the turret's gone, or even like once when the Torb's gone. So we end up, oh okay. We end up rotating and the Junkrat's there, so obviously back onto the high ground, which is fine. He kind of just like came out of nowhere. So the torments are going in. Just be careful with your GA here. When you're like here, what you can do is you can like just wait a second and just kind of like make sure you get a good LOS on your Zarya if you then want to kind of like GA into here. Just like take your time with your GA and don't like try to rush it. Obviously you have to back out a little bit. When you're backing out, still like try to have like some kind of eye on your team though. Don't just like walk out aimlessly, because it still gives you like a really good like knowledge of like how your team's doing. Nice ping. Oh, okay. Wait. Okay. I'm just gonna back it up because I also didn't really like a rotation that you did. So this is why I said don't rush the GA. Obviously end up backing out. I love how you put the beam on the Torb. That's fine. When you back out, obviously do that. Right. This is the GA I don't like. This GA, just come over to here, right? Because you like super jumping up and then out like this, especially if your Zarya doesn't kill this Zen, he can very much just hit this charge like shot onto you. What you should do instead is just GA, because you know it's safe here because your Reaper has already pushed forward this area. This is kind of like take it as, I don't know if you play Splatoon or not, It's probably Splatoon's like a really bad example, but essentially you kind of like cover the turf, like cover the ground down in like your color. Kind of think of it as like that, right? Currently, you've taken this kind of area, like you know this area is going to be safe, and there's not going to be any enemies here. Like in this, kind of like draw a line from like your Reaper to your Zarya to your Torb. You know all of this area is going to be safe because you've pushed forward. You've already eliminated the enemies in there. So what you can do is you can rotate to here and help your Zarya here and kind of like jiggle peek this wall here with your Zarya because you know that your Reaper has pushed up this space, and if anyone wants to attack from this area, they have to get through your Reaper first, okay? So just kind of, what's it called? Come out, GA here, and then help here, alright? I want to play this next part in like a 3D view. So if we played over here, then obviously we could like help out the Zarya. Obviously, the Zen's kind of like pushed out, so it means that, sorry, is like behind this cover now because we've pushed out. So what you could do is you can now just, like, what you could do is you could stand on this like low ground here, help out. Okay, now we should be able to hear that this remarch is behind us, and I feel as though this is sadly where queuing with friends kind of falls down a little bit, is if you don't have someone in your like group, then you can struggle with comms with them, okay? Which I feel as though is what happened here. Because if you also had comms with this Moira, then the Moira could warn you that there's a remarcher behind you. Alright? So anyway, so at this point, you do end up getting stuck there. What I would do is I would literally just ping the Mercy and then just start capping point. Because what's more important right now? Killing this Mercy or starting capping this point? Especially when there's only 2 of them left and you have a lot of your team. They have to basically push into you. So there's no point trying to take that fight early, because you don't need to. Start capping. Overwatch is a lot like a controlling space game, where it's like whoever has control of like the best space and the best sightlines and stuff is genuinely the person that's gonna like win, basically. So if you can take control of this capture objective and make them have to push into you, it's gonna make their life 10 times more difficult rather than you trying to take the fight to them, okay? So we end up like trying to get the pistol out on the Mercy, which is fine. And then we end up seeing, I hope you see the remote. Okay, no, we're very, we need to work on aim a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. Bluehawk, like if you want to go ahead and like pistol people like this, just be sure that you have the aim too. We need to work on aim a tiny little bit there. But we end up capping, which is great. It would have been better if you literally just stayed point and just helped out with your team there though. Especially if that Remarcher decided to peel for the Mercy and just like, what's it called, went on to you. It's quite good because the Remarcher didn't decide to help the Mercy. But just like a little thing for the future. So we're stood here, damage boosting Zarya, which is great. Nice. I would have GA'd in there. I would have literally just like started walking in. Because then you could use your GA at this point, right? To try and like cross these like parts of cover. And obviously your Moira ends up getting taken out by the Junkrat spam. Just make sure when like you're in as much cover as you can. Lovely healing now. Just unfortunate. Set yourself on the high ground. Nice. You can still like you can still help people here, or like even go and like res someone. Like you can very much like use yourself like to get up onto this high ground, and then as soon as you're up there, now try to like still like, you know, help the fight, for example, if you need to. Now with your Reaper, you're probably not gonna be able to help your Reaper here, but you could definitely res your Zarya. Okay. Lovely how you ping it. Really, really great. Can't do anything there. You should like, if your Reaper's like fully in the backline like that, just let him do his thing. Like you're not gonna be able to help him there. Same thing again, just use your cover some more. Okay, we stop crouch super jumping. I've said it a few times now and I didn't want to pick it up because I didn't know whether it's like a habit thing. It's turned into more of like a habit thing, right? Stop spamming this guardian angel, this super jump, right? Because as the famous Neandra always says, you should try and use your super jump to reposition rather than your actual positioning. What this basically means is instead of just using your super jump just to kind of have a good position, because it isn't a good position just randomly being up in the air, because if you're up in the air like this, you got the soldier that could just beam you down, right? Instead, you should try and use a super jump to reposition, like how you did up here, where you used your super jump to get up onto this high ground. You want to use your super jump, or like any of your GAs, with a purpose. You don't just want to be spamming it, like in general, okay? So literally, what you want to do is, so you end up, obviously, let's go back, So, So we're up here. This is great. This is a good super jump for repositioning. We should have dropped to do this res a little bit sooner. Love how you pinged it though. That's really, really great. Okay, we should just leave Reaper here. We know Reaper's gonna die. No point trying to go into him. Okay, we should just go and help this Zarya. Okay. With this, this is an unnecessary super jump. You do not need this. You can just stand here and just blue beam. This is fine. All right. Because then you super jumping basically puts you like in the LOS of the enemy. Same thing again here. You don't need to super jump here. You can just stay down on the ground where you were. You see how much like SAM damage you're taking right now? You were so close to dying because this soldier had LOS of you because you're up in the air like that. Use your GAs on the ground. Just use some nice like slingshots. So literally just like get to your Zarya or something and then just use a jump slingshot to get yourself around these covers. Because you being up in the air is leaving yourself really vulnerable right now. Sorry, I cannot speak. So yeah. So we'll keep going. And we end up getting picked off. This is what I mean where it's like you need to be a little bit more cautious with where you're positioning yourself. Just be sure to kind of like play as much cover as you can and just don't spam that super jump, okay? So we have Junkrat's higher. Nice sense of going, which is fine. Play with Zarya. When you're like here with people in the car, by the way, you can play under here. Because it basically, everyone will be playing usually on this castle or be like in this kind of corridor bit here. So if you play underneath this like bridge bit here and just damage people with Zarya here, then this is fine. I love how you're using your Zarya though as like your main blue beam target right now. Just obviously if you do end up with other DPS, then you don't want to. Love the bulk. Okay, you're not gonna kill this Rhyme. Like this is kind of like a moment where you damage boosting all these guys is gonna do so much more than you trying to get this Ryan here right now. Okay, the Ryan's being healed by the Mercy. You'd have to hit so many consistent headshots, which you're going to struggle when he's holding up the shield to be able to kill him. Right? It's fine if you get it out to pressure him at the beginning. As soon as that happens, you just need to get out because your Moira ends up dying because of it. Right? Obviously playing your cover for this ult, which is really, really nice. Lovely. What's it called? Reaper ult. Helping Zarya, which is great. Remember, as soon as she's got the half HP though, try to damage boost her a little bit more. Love to heal him. The same thing again, like when they're like quite, when the enemies are quite low like that, and you can like, be able to damage boost a little bit more. You know what I've noticed quite a lot? Is you're just GAing for no purpose half the time. Same thing here, you can damage boost. Yeah, a lot of the time, you're like chucking yourself into harm's way for no reason whatsoever. Like, basically, the way that I like to play Mercy is very much only GA if you like desperately need to. And that's to reposition to help with your team, or maybe there's someone coming behind you and flanking and stuff like that. Literally just play back as much as you can. Because what's it called? Like, you fling yourself here, there, everywhere, every like 2.5 seconds or like 1.5 seconds, depending on like what GA you end up using, is putting yourself in more harm's way than anything. Really try to think about where you're positioning before you go to it, if you can. This damage boost is great though. Same thing again, you don't want to super jump. You'd actually be so much better if you just like kind of, it's a little bit hard on this point because of like how open this bridge is, but you can kind of like crouch behind these like walls here and like damage boost here. If your team end up backing off a lot more, then you could play on these like stairs. But I think at the moment you'll just end up like crouching behind these like walls and stuff just to get as much cover as you can. Then whenever you want to rotate, this is what I mean, right? You're not thinking about where you want to position. You're just like mindlessly like going about. Whenever you want to go somewhere, make sure you're doing it with a purpose. Like, what would have been so much better here if you just stayed crouched here. Like, just stay crouched here. When they use this, because it looks like they, I thought he was going to use B with like the way he was like positioned, but no, right? What happens is if they start pushing in, GA, come down here. You want to GA with a purpose. With a bad positioning, yeah, which comes from like you basically just run. You're not thinking about like your movement. Think about your movement first, and think about where's safe to go, and think about like where's going to be the safest opportunity for you at that very moment in time before you do anything. Because you basically just ended up just getting yourself picked off because you were just stood out in the open. Just, you know, you weren't using like your GA to like a specific point. But it's fine. Unfortunately, don't have any supports right now. And I'm walking out, which is fine. Can't get to tour, which is fine. End up at the Zarya, which is great. Same thing again. Okay. I'm just going to talk you through your position, I feel as though, for the rest of this VOD Bluehawk, if that's alright. Because I feel as though once you kind of get this positioning nailed down, you'll be so much more better. And you could be more focused on other things, right? So, with this, GA yourself over to here, and GA here, right? Play this wall at this point, alright? Instead of fling yourself up into the air. Damage boost, nice. Right, at this scenario, right, instead of wasting your GA to do a little like super jump up like this, use your GA, and you can, because everyone is in this grab, you can damage boost this Reaper. This Reaper could get like fully like into this grab, and then you can GA yourself up onto like one of these high grounds. This is a fine time for you to just go and commit with your Reaper basically. You getting your block out is going to do nothing here. Alright? Lovely crouching behind the cover now though. It's great. Still aware where he is, which is perfect. Lovely damage boost there. Your positioning at the end of that fight was a lot better because obviously you found out like where that soldier was and stuff like that. You need to be playing like that all the time. Like be that scared about the enemies like that all the time. You know? Not just for the key ultimates like High Noon and what's it called? Other stuff. Love this, how you're playing away the tire. Lovely. So you need to go in and go and help your Zarya. Same thing again, once again, you're taking a lot of diva spam that you don't need to. Just play back a bit. Just play like basically where you are now. You should be playing there a little bit sooner. That's fine. Lovely rotation again. But instead of flicking yourself up to do it, angle yourself so you end up coming around this like wardrobe bit here instead. So you're like playing basically jiggling like this so you can block out with LOS of her. And then if she dives, you would get... Okay. When playing against a diva, you basically want her to use her boosters before you use your GA. The reason is because, obviously, with Mercy's GA, once she's used it, it's depending on like what movement you do, it's either 1.5 to 2.5 seconds. So what you basically don't want to be caught out for then the diva to use hers. Diva's boosters are on a 4-second cooldown. So what you want to do is you want to basically GA yourself here, play this cover like this really, really nicely, and then it will basically force the diva to come to you. At that point, you can then rotate somewhere else. You can rotate into this room over here and help your Torb. You could just do anything. You essentially just want to base out the boosters before you use your GA. Alright? But we'll keep going. End up having the Zarya. Just stay point there. You flick yourself out here makes you very vulnerable to all the enemies. So just stay point. Like literally just how like you could go put your beam on the Zarya, yes, but then use a backwards GA and just come back here. Or like do a directional one where like you face this way and come back, up to you. Alright? Keep going. Again, you get your pistol out is going to nothing, so that's fine. Playing out in the open again, like just play your covers again. Add Valk now, yep. Nice Valk. Nice heals on the Moira. Same thing again where you're rotating for no reason. Where you were was fine. Push that damage boost. And that towards the end of that Valk, you need to push that damage boost more. No Jaeger lock out. No, don't get okay. Until your aim is better, Bluehawk, I'm gonna say to you, do not get out of that pistol, because right now you're very much just like spraying and praying at people with like no aim whatsoever. Just rely on your teammates at this point and just damage boost them, because you walking forward and down like doing this is like you know, you basically got yourself killed like this. Just play back, damage boost your Zarya, damage boost your Reaper, whoever's like, you know, what's it called? Whoever's like basically doing damage and focusing someone, put your blue beam on them and just leave the Glock. Put the Glock back in like its little, you know, your back pocket. Leave that there. You do not need it. The only time you need your like Glock out basically is if you see someone that's isolated and really low and you have the aim to be able to do it. That's probably the only time actually, I'm gonna be honest. When I use it. But teamfight seems to be going quite well, which is good. Without you. It would be better if you were like here, like with them. That's fine. Same thing again, right? You can just damage boost. If you damage boost your Zarya here, that Mercy goes quicker. Because that Zarya had her beam on the Mercy. Chuck that damage boost on her. Because you like getting your pistol out there is gonna do nothing again. Alright? Nice damage boost on the Coalescence. Can't know anything about Reaper. That was a better res if you just resed it behind the pot. Okay. Bluehawk, it's all about positioning. We just need to think before we GA whether we need to GA, and we just need to just play the cover more, okay? Because a lot of the time we're playing very out in the open, we're not using our cover, and then when we want to rotate, we're just walking out into the cover. We switched to Sigrun. This is perfect, Bluehawk, honestly. Going from the best skin in the game to the worst. Awesome. We love it. Alright. So we switched ourselves to an Orisa. Orisa's once again still a really good damage boost. Okay. Starting here. When we're damage boosting at the start bit, play here. Jiggle peek this wall like this, okay? Then watch your Orisa backs off a little bit, then you can back off a little bit more further, like to your torb and stuff like that. You being starting this open, as soon as they start pushing you in, like the soldier's coming in with a Helix Rocket. Where's that Helix Rocket gonna go? Hopefully it will hit your Orisa, but let's follow it, right? Helix Rocket. Okay, it is gonna miss you, but like still, it's that kind of thing where it's like you're still very like out in the open. Okay, we still need to be playing that cover a little bit more, and not flinging ourselves into them. Same like when you have your Moira here to heal, just keep that damage boost on her. Like there's no need for you to heal there either. But it's fine. I like this position better. Just make sure you're still damage boosting. Same thing again, right? You don't need that GA. Unnecessary GA. You just stand here, it's fine. This is a good GA. Don't fling yourself up to do it though. Do it more straight across. Do it like bam, bam over here, like with a purpose. Get yourself rotated quicker rather than just like flaunting yourself up in the air like this, alright? Literally aim your camera as you GA to your Orisa over here. Use your jump and just come over here. Okay? That's fine. Helping Torb, which is fine. If you want to help Torb though, it would have been better, obviously, so if you GA'd over to here, you can then grab your Torb here, and then you can help here. It basically saves you from being out in this open and being very vulnerable to this choke. You can literally stay here, help here, and then be back here, alright? We'll keep going. Nice heals from Moira. You didn't need to, like, back around though. Where you were was fine. Same thing again where you can just damage boost here. Like there's a lot of that where you can damage boost. Okay, I want to rewind that. I want to see what happens. Okay. So damage boost all this. She's still got shields. Like if your Orisa still has shields, just damage boost her. So still damage boost, still damage. Okay. When she goes to hide or like goes into here like this, you now have to think, okay, how can I help her? You GAing across here is like the worst thing for you to do because you're GAing across a choke like really close to them. If you need to get to your Orisa, like bear in mind, you don't need to get to your Orisa here because your Orisa's like really healthy. She has the Moira with her. You can literally just quickly like GA over to here, like around, and like to here. Or if like you want to be really, really safe, you can GA and come like around. The issue with doing this is that it's quite like a long way around and stuff. And I feel as though with them like still like quite far back as they are, you can get away with GAing over to your Torb and then around. Your Orisa does not need you right now. And you rotating in front of them like this is really, really dangerous. Like try to make sure you're looking out for your options, which should be your Torb and going around to him. So we end up in the back line. Yeah, this is how we end up in the back line. Yeah. We end up basically getting ourselves killed here because we make that bad rotation. Remember that there's other people in your team other than your Orisa. I know obviously Orisa is going to be one of your best blue beam targets for this team, but don't be tunnel visioned on to helping her. Remember there is still your other DPS. Your other DPS still have really good damage boost abilities, and they're still able to basically be able to damage boost. Like your Torb, when he's like spamming people out, he can still damage boost. When Reaper goes in and he's like quite near you, you can still go and damage boost that, that's fine. So we're gonna help Torb. See, your Torb is like really, really good. He must have hit like some really good shots and stuff. So we recognize obviously Bastion's there. Nice. You don't need to be with your Reaper. Your Reaper's right. What's gonna happen here is your Reaper's gonna wait for them to push in before he comes in. You putting this blue beam on them is just going to deter them from going in that way. You instead just basically want to leave him alone and just back off. And just like go and damage with someone else. Like go and maybe like come into here and come and damage with your Torb. Because now they want to try and find a different angle. They'll be coming in from this angle, or they'll obviously carry on pushing into this Reaper. You do not want to be here. You can literally just sit back with these two right now. Alright? Because now you're going to put yourself vulnerable to this Torb. We need to pay attention to these guys. Which is what we're doing now. Obviously this Sigma's come on to point. Nice. You can't res that. You can, yeah, you can't. Okay. This is what's it called? This is not a res opportunity for you. Okay. Let's rewind it back to see your options, right? So we're here. We should have been with the Torb. Okay, we're with the team now instead, which is great. I would have just I don't know. No, I would not just commit with the Orisa. Yeah. You could maybe like GA in and like play with your Orisa here. Where is this your Torb? It is your Torb. The issue is like your Torb's playing like very far back, so it is making it hard for you to play Mercy here in general. I would have literally what I would have done is I would have just GA'd forward and then just like played in this room with your Orisa maybe. Okay. As soon as you notice she's gone, you cannot res that, okay? Obviously, I love how you wait for this Bastional. That is fine. You wait in here till that Bastional ends. This is great. As soon as that Bastional ends, though, you do not want to dive into here. Why? Because there's a Junkrat, there's a Zen, and there's a Mercy. This Zen could just hit a charge shot on you, just kill you. Junkrat can 2-tap you. You want to basically help your Reaper more. So what you actually want to be doing is it's great that you waited for the Bastional to end. Awesome. But no, not ult, sorry. It always reminds me of his old ult, but it's not. It's like little turret form. It's great how you wait for that. As soon as that's done, you then GA. You GA out, you go and help this Reaper with his Blossom. You have comms with this Reaper, you're queued with this Reaper. You can basically just go in and damage boost him. Alright? So you basically going for this res is really, really risky. Reaper ends up getting a really, really good Blossom because of it. But honestly, I would have like tried to look to damage boost the Blossom before you go for that res. Because then you could maybe res someone else, okay? Same thing again where you're just GAing out into the open, just like stay back. Because once again, you're in a really, really bad spot. I like how you use going up to go like around though. Once again, we need to use our cover. When Valkin, I think this is a fine Valk. Just when you're using it, don't fly to the skybox like this. Still play close to the ground. And obviously you're trying to like stay away from like the Junkrat tire, but the way that you can stay away from the Junkrat tire while still being safe is trying to find an open spot. A really good example is being like in the middle. Obviously this is just an example, you wouldn't want to be here right now, but if you needed to, a great example is just to be here, like slightly above point, like here, because it can't reach you when it's going to be exploding on the payload. It can't reach you on from any of these walls. You can literally just stand here. All right. So we do end up kind of flying to the skybox a little bit. Okay. This is it. Once again, it's like a territory thing again, right? You know that this area is safe because that's where your thingies, like your Torb just come from. You rotate up to here with them because you have this turret to protect you, you have Torb to protect you, and you can also help hold this high ground and help your Orisa basically from where you are instead of dropping to point, which is what you do perfectly. This is much better positioning. You do not need to rotate. There is absolutely no... Okay. And that's why ends up getting you picked off over here. Well, like, in a really bad spot, basically. Only rotate from this spot if your Orisa basically starts going, like, this way, for example. Because your beam can still connect. And even if your beam, like, doesn't, you know, like, fully start connecting, you can still, like, do a directional GA, like, back up onto here. Especially because she starts rotating back around to here. Just stay here. Like, there is no need for you to rotate here. You are safe. You are with a torp turret. You are absolutely fine to stay here and, like, not need to rotate. Because then you rotating basically puts you into this bad spot over here, and then you end up getting caught out by this, what's it called? The sucky down thing, floor thing. I don't know what it's called. Anyways, we end up obviously healing. That's fine. I would have maybe waited a slight second to make sure that your Reaper was actually going to push forward, and kind of, instead of resing it like just here, res it here a little bit more, like around this cover, just to kind of make sure it's as safe as possible. I like how obviously you waited for people to push forward though, which is great. Same thing again with the super jumps, just try and make sure that you're doing it with a purpose. Let's help him with the torp. That's it, yeah. I feel as though when it's like a one-on-one scenario, you seem to be kind of fine with like, yeah, same thing where you're just in a bad spot again. Like it seems to be fine, like your damage boost and stuff. Like when it's just a one-on-one scenario, you just need to now kind of like when you're in a team fight, try to just remember and focus on like, you know, like that kind of 1v1 scenario kind of thing, if you can. Same thing again where you're just out in the open quite a bit. And they don't end up touching him. So, overall Bluehawk, okay. How do I start? Like, essentially, your, basically, who you're picking to main blue beam in this scenario is fine. Like, that's good, okay? We need to start pushing the damage boost beam a little bit more. Than the healing beam at some points. Like, for example, when the Orisa's like half HP, you can still push the damage boost. Orisa, when she's half HP, is like 200 HP. That's like the same HP as a, what's it called? A DPS. She's gonna be fine. Stick that damage boost on her. So that's fine. We need to really focus on positioning though, Bluehawk, alright? We need to start using our GAs, not just like randomly just to, oh, let's GA over here and let's GA over here, alright? We need to start GAing with a purpose and using it to position in a certain place. Don't just be like flaunted about like, you know, in the middle of chokes and stuff like that. You have to kind of realize on a map, I'm going to go back to this like kind of chokehold, right? We have to kind of realize where the dangerous scenarios are, right? For example, on this map, our dangerous places are here and this kind of section here, right? So you essentially want to make sure you're out of that way. So you could position yourself over here, you could position yourself behind here. You essentially just want to be anywhere other than you, like for example here, standing out in this choke. You also don't want to be crossing this choke. Like you did quite a few times, we end up jumping and then super jumping back around. You can literally just avoid that by sticking on your beam and then just playing behind here. Jiggle peeking like this wall. And then start pressing that crouch super jump, like you know, like ends like, you know, without any like purpose basically. If you want to press that crouch super jump, do it up into the air and then like reposition yourself. Do not use it as your positioning because it's not helping you with your positioning. Alright? So first thing I want you to work on is basically that positioning, and please put that Glock away. up until like you have like worked on your aim a little bit more, which as Mercy it isn't that, you know, it isn't needed as much up until you get like more higher, in which case like Mercy's like aim does actually kind of matter a tiny bit, I'd say. Not as much obviously, you know, as like other characters and stuff like that. But no, you literally just want to, you just want to play this cover so much more and just really work on your positioning. But I hope that's alright, Bluehawk. Once again, thank you so much to everyone who's been watching this VOD. This is mainly just a VOD about positioning and stuff like that, so I hope that if you are struggling with your positioning or you are just like randomly spamming these abilities and stuff like that, that's managed to help you out. Once again, you can get your own VOD views. They offer 5,000 channel points and they are on my Twitch. You essentially can just come along, save up with the 5,000 channel points, and I do the VODs on Mondays. And I also stream on Wednesdays, Fridays and Saturdays, and they're just in my own games. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all later. Bye!